We are live. Welcome back to the resupply with me, GuyNextDoor.
Me, very tired DK.
Me, Lucidun.
Oh, we're gonna do that.
And me, DiscoStu.
Oh, we should have talked about that shit before we went live. Bringing you your daily one recap of Laserforce Space Marines 5 Internationals 2023.
So it's some year.
2020 to
2020 asterisk.
Yeah. I might quickly do this. I mean, we're only really recording this for YouTube, so we can watch it later. Hopefully. Hello, Scraps. Nice to see you. Can you guys still hear? You won't be able to hear any static or anything, right? Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
We are at the end. We are at the end of day one. There's static still? Fuck.
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
That's annoying. It might be, give me 2 seconds.
I'm just pulling up some stats here so we can, you don't have to click back and forth.
Appreciate it.
Oh, that is not very much.
It is way faster than normal.
Oh dear.
Let's see if this stables it out a little.
It's like a pop, 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 pop static.
Can you pull this one out? Oops. Tell me if that makes a difference.
Is that the scoreboard input?
No, that's the, yes, it is. Let us know, Scraps, if that's any better. Hopefully it's better. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Gift us
Dolly.
up by Dolly.
Hey, thanks, Dolly.
Good
Thanks,
job.
Dolly.
Slugs.
That's amazing. Look, if the static is still there, can you let us know if the static is still there? Because if it's still there, then we might as well not do the show, because I won't upload it. So, if it's still there...
The static is still here. You should have come so you could have been here in person and seen what we were going to say.
Into day one, and it was a long day. It's better now, just a little fuzz, but bearable. Hey, can you close the door? Maybe it's the... That was the slowest door close I've ever seen.
It was very dramatic.
Didn't want to slam it.
Fair enough. How's your day?
It was a good day overall. We had definitely a few bumps in the road. I had to both pep talk my team, but also Laser Dad had to tell the children that he was a little disappointed in them once or twice. And I think that worked because they pulled their heads
Amazing. I was angry jerk and then had to apologize for being an angry jerk. Rightly so. I lost my cool towards the end of the day. In my defense, people were doing dumb things that were making me mad. I also said mean things to DK, which, you know, were not really warranted.
Was it really to me? I think it was just sort of
It
general.
was in
exclamation.
general. It was like...
It was a general thing, but
Yeah.
I thought the most productive thing would be maybe just to give you a little space.
Poor DK indeed. I sort of lost my cool a little bit just with the lack of awareness that was happening in some instances, especially when we made a couple of points specifically about things. Frustrations for me for the day were the way the kind of game turnover was happening. And it happens at every Nats, and maybe I just care more this time because...
After lunch, I think it really tightened up.
Oh,
quite
absolutely
honestly.
did, but like, so immediately after lunch, you know, we sort of made a couple of points around people kind of the way they move in and out of this area and like coming in and getting, you know, logged in immediately, and people still were asking me dumb questions that I'd already covered before lunch. So, you know, maybe I need to be a little more patient, but
You need an infinite well of patience as a tournament coordinator, unfortunately.
Luckily, I'm leaning on most of the hard admin shit. DK is doing a great job for that. Kelly's doing a great job of that. I'm gonna phone call.
Beans is helping with uploading stats and all that shit. So.
Yeah. I'll talk to these guys real quick. Sorry, I have to take this call.
Oh no, we're without our anchor. We're really adrift in a sea of nonsense now. I guess what everybody probably wants to know are like standings and stuff, since we're doing an actual recap. So maybe I can do that if my fingers will still work. So coming in first place, end of day one. Should we go bottom up or top down? What do we think?
Bottom up's more fun.
Bottom up.
We all know it's going to be at the top.
So
Boo.
bottom up on an unfortunate 0 points is the Oakley Hybrid team. But I expect they're going to remedy that by the end of the week. I don't want to see that 0 category in there. So you really need to put them in your backpack, Lucy. What's going on here?
I mean, it's really hard for me still like to get used to your rules because as many of you know, I'm not used to play with resets. I'm not used to play with international rules, and I'm not used to play the real Space Marines. So yeah,
it's a lot to it's a lot to do. Honestly, I think you're doing great in making the adjustments though, because you're playing with your team. You're listening to the call outs. You've been really faithful and observant when I've seen you in there reffing. So, and thanks to Al and to everybody else who's helping just to kind of to jump into the deep end with you. Not only throwing you in the deep end, they're also jumping in.
Yeah, and reffing, that's something I'm doing for the first time as well. So
yeah.
How are you finding? I mean, yeah, learning curve's probably a good one. Like, how are you finding the gameplay here compared to back home? Not necessarily Space Marines, but just the play in general.
It's very similar to our maze, to be honest, to the Pilsen one, because we kind of have it built as a labyrinth as well. We just don't have the tower in the middle.
All right.
So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, right on. In terms of the aggression, is it on par? Like, do people take it the same kind of seriousness back home, or?
Oh yeah.
Are they big jerks like us?
Yeah.
We saw you tell them about the S.
We saw you storm out before, and we were like, perfect. Like, that is the international language of laser tag. Is that right there? The angry stomp out of the center. So it was good. Yeah.
So they're on 0 right now. We're just going up through the standings.
Yeah.
And there's a gremlin under the table. It's definitely very distracting.
Sorry. Back. Stewie, how's your day, bro?
It's been a long day, a little bit tiring, but otherwise good, fun.
Yeah. Now, I sort of made the observation, I mean, we all have, but your team, So your team being the Auckland, the ABs?
The ABs.
The ABs.
Who are next up. They are on 6 points because they 6-0'd the match against the Oakley Hybrid. But they have unfortunately lost all their other matches. So
yeah.
So far, like we're accurate on our initial tier rankings that those two teams are in the. I feel so bad saying bottom tier, but I mean, there's no sugarcoating losing.
Yeah. That's where we are. Yeah.
I think
there's just a lot of really good fucking players here. I don't know what else to say.
So one of the best games I've ever spectated happened this morning, which was you guys versus East.
Oh boy!
One.
Ooh, what a game!
What a game!
Ooh.
It was the second game of the day, and if you guys missed it, go back and watch the VOD.
It was technically the fourth game of the day, but it was the second game of the first match. Yeah.
Wow, it's not often that I get goosebumps watching the scoreboard, but it was so awesome. That was probably one of the highlight matches for the highlight games of the day, I think, for me anyway.
It was pretty remarkable. Yeah, I can't even remember everything that happened except that Kodama and Aiden had some of the most clutch MVP plays I've seen where it was down to basically just the two of them. It was Josiah was the opposing commander, yeah? And was throwing a nuke. Kodama managed to cancel the nuke. And that definitely saved our bacon because it kept more players in the game longer. It allowed us to keep some more pressure on the opposing team. And then it was down to just Odin's Fist and I think the two opposing 3 hits and maybe a scout.
Yeah.
But they were all
there
on
were
like
3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, they were all on 1 and 2 lives
yeah.
though. Stuff like that, and we were ahead in the game, so we just needed to pull through and stuff like that. But an elimination would have felt great. And then in like very quick succession, Aiden just like tags all, and then just goes, and they all
Kills
just
everyone.
and they went error. Now, unfortunately, we discovered later that one of the people he shot was Cody, who had tripped on the ramp.
Basically fallen down the ramp.
Oh yeah.
I thought he came to the top of the ramp and like fell
And
down
I fell
as
down
he
the
as he
ramp,
did
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You got to watch out for that error. It's very dangerous.
No, he was running away. He was running away from Odin back down the ramp, and he fell.
I was already dead, so I didn't see what happened.
Yeah, I don't care.
I die in most games, so I don't see what happens at the end.
Tell me about it.
Medic struggle.
Yeah.
There we go.
Now, did you talk about the standings?
We're working our way up
All right,
in the standings, so that was cool. So now we have a real tight bunching between spots 2 through 4. So in 4th right now is USA East or USA Feast because Russ just enjoys trolling us. For reason they are on 16 points. They have won 2 matches, lost 3, but I think in several of the matches that they lost, they definitely split a match with us because they took the first game from us. And I think that was kind of a good wake-up call for my team. Did they split? They didn't split the match. You guys 60 right? Yeah.
That was so long ago. So long ago.
Yeah. In any case, so they split their match with us, but they played real good.
Real good.
Real good. In observing their games, there were definitely some strategies that I learned from them because, I mean, let me just say it like right now. Number 1, I fucking love this field.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
great. I absolutely love this
Awesome.
arena. I'm glad I got to play it for a few days before the comp started.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Some of the things about the way I sort of predicted that it would play when I was talking to my team about how we want to approach it and stuff like that. Some of the things I feel like were more or less accurate, but there are definitely things that are not apparent from just looking at a 2-dimensional rendering of the map in the way the field plays, and there's a lot of variation, and so I definitely was
Which is
observing
normally
some
the case.
things.
Like,
Yeah, I was observing some things the USA East team did. I think they may have also observed from watching Brisbane, and I was definitely paying as much attention to what Brisbane was doing as possible. And there are a few little tricks here and there. But good on you, USA East. I think you guys are playing great. 2 points ahead of them with 18 points is Auckland A. Won 3 matches, lost 2, including a very hard-fought match at the end of the day in between us. Where again we split the match. You guys won game 1. Morange had kind of a miraculous save, and even going back to our first match of the day against USA East. We had a chance. We pretty much only saved the match for the second half because Thunder managed to run out the clock on 1 life, and Morange did much the same thing by running out the clock. I don't remember how many lives he had at the end of the game, but it was 6. I'm seeing 6 from Mr. Morange in the background. So had 6 lives left. I think it's probably maybe just a lack of familiarity with the field that made it difficult for some of my guys to close it out. And I think there's probably still a bit of jet lag because some guys lost their bags, flights were delayed, some people were up for 50-plus hours, and just 1 night of sleep does not make up for that kind of sleep debt.
No way.
So I'm thinking that maybe things will improve as things go on. But I really enjoyed our match together. Angstiness of us coming outside aside from that, but that's just competitive shenanigans.
Yeah, DK almost got himself punched in the face. No, just joking. Dolly, thank you very much for the gift sub. This is very nice of you. Yeah.
I mean, lights.
Oh yeah, good point.
So 2 points ahead of Auckland A is my team, USA West. We're on 20 points. We have won 4 matches, lost 1. We split matches with both Auckland A and USA East, which is why things are so tightly bunched together. I almost feel like I need to reevaluate the tier list because I kind of feel like our 3 teams are sort of in the same tier, at least for right now.
For right now.
Because on 30 points, undefeated, elimed every game,
doing their thing,
is Brisbane.
Stupid.
So boring. Why does anybody watch this sport? It's the same people always fucking win. Stupid Rusty and Taipan.
That's so selfish. Let someone else have a turn.
Yeah. Come on, get out of here, guys.
Get out of here.
But what can you do? They play great. They don't make a lot of mistakes. I'm watching them as close as possible, trying to figure out things they're doing. I'm hoping that as the week goes on, that maybe some of the gaps will close up a little bit, and that I'd love to see the USA teams pull up a little bit. It's your guys' field, but I still don't think you guys have hit your ceiling because I know that there's still some cagey adjustments I'm sure you guys can make.
Yeah, I think just the lack of practice and the lack of playing with each other.
Right there with you.
Yeah,
right there with you, man.
But you guys, I mean, you guys have played together more actually in recently than we have, I think.
I mean, that's probably true since Leach is living overseas. Right now,
yeah. So Leach hasn't played since. He's played a couple of members nights, over the last 4 years.
If that's Leach playing off the rust, that's a little scary.
He's such a good. Oh, Dolly with more good subs. We're up to 148. Thank you, Dolly.
The King brothers are just like raptors that run around and hunt in packs and just start scratching your guts out when you least expect it.
That was what the metaphor I was going to use. Watching Basil do the same thing.
Basil's very, very quick. He's very quick. He's very quick. The King brothers are very quick. Steve's dying here, so we're going to have to cut the podcast short.
Behind it. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. But obviously we haven't really played this year at all.
So, but at least from kind of our initial hypothesis or the question that we posed to the community, is it better to be playing a bunch of comps and to just have kind of some top level plays in there, or to be playing consistently every week with the same people? I think we pretty definitively answered to that. It's better to just be playing every week with the same people and developing that kind of rhythm, because Brisbane just has a kind of innate understanding and unspoken kind of synergy with each other that people know what the expectations are and they know what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, even if that is jumping Rusty and Taipan's backpack and get the fuck out the way.
But I mean, so in the lead up, because we haven't seen Basil at a Nats yet, I don't believe. And I can't remember if JFK's played Nats.
He played 2018 in
He
Brisbane.
played 2018,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously I've met those cats already, but going in, I think the question mark was probably over those two because we haven't seen them in a Brisbane A team, and they're answering all of the questions. So, that the team's got a lot of cohesion.
I still have aspirations. I would love to, to beat them in a Nats once in my career, especially since, I mean, they say this shit all the time at Rusty and Taipan, saying that this is going to be their last Nats. They're going into retirement. I would love to be part of the squad that helps retire them, but if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And until somebody beats them, the crown is still theirs.
So I mean, the one time that Brisbane didn't send a team, in the early 2000s or the late 2000s, that was the time that we won, which is see them asterisks in chat because
The best ability is availability, and if you ain't there to defend your title, then you don't get shit.
True, but at the same time, like you said, in order to consider yourself the best, you have to.
And it's not as though they've never lost. I mean, Oakley has beaten them.
Yep.
In Oakley's field.
Detroit
has beaten them in Detroit's field. I would love to say that we're a team that beat them in a neutral field, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But we got 4 more days. We got 2 more rounds, and we got finals.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Yeah. Did you guys have a highlight or a low light of the day you wanted to share?
Let me think.
What about you? Did you have anything that sort of happened that... for me, like watching that game this morning was a real joy.
Yeah.
The other thing as well was I am managing to slowly siphon the community's money out of their pockets into my own. So that's always a bonus.
Yeah, that first match was definitely a highlight for me because I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform in these events, and even though I'm playing a supporting role this time, if we're the Bulls, I ain't Michael Jordan, I ain't Scottie Pippen, I ain't Steve Kerr. Like I'm like the assistant coach or something. Yeah, I'll take Tony Kukoc.
Yeah, he's
good player,
great.
good player, but like a supporting role. But I still put a ton of pressure on myself.
Dude,
for that kind of stuff.
That ending was so good. One of the best endings of any game I've ever watched. I kind of want to clip that whole game and just put it up.
But that moment, knowing that I can trust other people, Kodama and Aiden and Thunder and Snuffles and Caleb, and everybody had their great moments in that match. So knowing that I can trust other people and don't have to put everything on myself, because I can't if I'm playing resupply. But knowing to have that trust in other players is big.
It's
difficult to let go, that kind of thing, because it's like when you're competitive. But
I know 100% what you mean. And I think that's one of my weaknesses at the moment is not having the ability to let go.
Tell me about it.
But just having the trust in your teammates, and because when you play, especially if you play the heavy role, you have to, you're so used to having such a tight, well, at least the way I play, having a tight grip on the game.
Yeah.
And letting that go is it's a trip. You're waiting for VOD to show your bro and a few friends who missed it. Oh.
Which bro?
Yeah,
not the one who's here.
We saw your mum put up a post on Facebook, and I thought it was absolutely adorable. She said that she's currently watching the stream, but without the sound on because there's a bunch of potty mouths.
Not wrong.
Yeah, not
wrong.
Smart. But yeah, it was really adorable, really, really cute. Yeah, did you guys have any kind of standout moments for you?
There was a game towards the end of the day with your team, actually, and even though it wasn't going to go your way, 2K King had a really solid 30-second run around green base where he put down 4 or 5 of the opposing team. I think he killed you out of the game, DK, or no?
I was dead. He might have been the one who killed me out. But yeah, I remember coming out and just seeing him picking our scouts apart. I'm like, why is no one sending a 3-hit at him?
Yeah. He definitely had a solid moment there where he pushed 4 guys off of him, and then was able to escape. But there's been lots of little moments in a lot of the games that that have brought a smile on my face, or were just good or bad.
Yeah.
Cody leading with the phaser, I think he got learned a little bit against us. Watched him come around the first time, saw him do it, and King knocked him down. The second time he did the same exact thing because he thought the first one was a chase.
Yeah.
And the rest of us, as soon as he said it, the rest of us were like, "No, you're leading with your phaser, bro."
Yeah.
Don't know if you heard it.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Fair. So, okay.
Yeah.
It is a really bad habit that a lot of, I find, and I've said it before, and maybe it's unfounded, but I don't think so. It's a really bad habit that a lot of North American players have. Maybe more than what I've seen in the Southern Hemisphere.
Well, I think just one of the kind of stylistic differences is the way that people turn corners.
Yeah.
You guys are
make
good
sure to strike.
at sidestepping. You sidestep.
That's what we've grown up.
Americans
playing.
are used to curving around walls,
And the
which
problem
it's perfectly possible to do it legally, but as you start getting more and more tired, you might start where you're here
flipping
in front of that, and as you're coming around, like that's fine, but as you start playing, maybe it comes out a little bit more forward, a little bit more forward, a little bit more forward, and then you're like,
obviously, like I'm biased, but the sidestep, even though it's a little slower, like it slows down the movement just a smidge.
Not if you're Basil.
Yeah, or if you're the King brothers. But
they got dinged a couple of times too.
Yeah, of course.
Let's not pretend your shit don't stink, bro.
Oh, I've been proving that it does all day. Yeah. But like I don't know. But you damn Americans, stop cheating.
I mean, just generally, and this is something I talk about in like every tournament, that I really do believe that people are trying their best and are trying to play in the spirit of the rules.
It's just habits.
It's habits, and sometimes it's stylistic differences. But something that always kind of drives me a little bit crazy is I feel like there is this weird dichotomy that refs are simultaneously overzealous and they're not watching it, and they're not watching anything. Guys, you got to pick your poison. Yeah. Either complain that the refs are too active or not active enough. But if you want to know, it's like why people are nervous to make calls. That's why. Yeah. And I really would like to see just less complaining about the reffing in general, especially like, oh, that ref's crazy. I didn't do that. Okay, yeah, you never think that you did it, but shit happens in the heat of the game. And I think a lot of people, especially from the older generation, we're still stuck in the mindset that it's like
the
penalties
deal.
Penalties are a huge fucking deal. Like, that might cost us the game, and this cost us a match, and we're losing points, we're losing MVP, and all that kind of stuff. But now, the way that reffing has evolved, we need to be treating it more like a foul in basketball. Yeah, it just, okay, play stop for 8s. Not even really stop, but okay.
Well,
you're down for 8 more seconds.
Momentum. Okay, whatever.
Move on. Move on.
There is a lot of dwelling, and it's not good because some people on my team, won't name names, like to dwell, and we had a word, and to be fair, to their credit, that's sort of become less of a thing, but yeah, it's just that mind shift has to change. That you got penalized, okay.
Yeah, we're used to thinking of it as being like penalty kicks in soccer, where it's just like, holy shit, this is going to change the whole end of the game. Yeah. Versus it's just a little thing. Just to go. And refs are occasionally going to miss things. It happens in professional sports. Refs are occasionally going to miss things. Yeah. They're occasionally going to make wrong calls, and you're occasionally going to cop a penalty.
Scraps was fucking worse. It was so shit. Lucy, did you think of something?
Well, beside resetting the 2 games.
Yeah.
One game 2 times, and then another game, because my captain forgot to change a row.
Oh, made me so mad.
But it was at the beginning, thankfully. It was even before the game started. So
who would do that? Who would forget to log the right role on their team? What an amateur!
I have like 2 things from today.
Yeah.
One was my 3rd game, which was, let's say, 6 match, something like that.
Yeah.
Where I did really great. We got together with my resupply and we smashed it.
Amazing.
It was awesome. I mean, we got out, everyone. But it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I found out today is that all the people are just too nice.
Well,
I mean, mine. Okay, you guys.
Your team.
You guys as well. But the people from my team, they were there for me while I was having hard times after the games. So.
Mm-hmm.
They're a bunch of good dudes.
Yeah,
I loved playing with them in 18.
Too.
It was so fun.
Yeah, you're playing with some of the best people, and yeah, it's always really fun. So I'm glad that you're able to experience the joy of playing with the Oakley guys, because
and I'm looking forward to the after chat, because I feel like I've barely spent any time with them this week, and it's hard because it's like you're reffing, you have to talk to your team, you have to do all these other things, so it's like just to spend time with those guys will be really good.
It's gonna be so good.
I'm glad that we're taking an extra week.
You hope Lucy can carry the Oakley thing like you used to.
I'm trying to.
Sure, Daz. Sure.
Yeah. Everyone knows the heart and soul of Oakley laser tag is Dragoon. Is that his name?
Dargon.
Daragal. Miss you, bro. Should be here. Yeah, I think one great thing is aside from Brisbane, who are playing at a dominant pace, that parity between the next three teams seemingly is pretty tight. Like
tomorrow could be intense.
Well, if
in a good way,
in a good way, if we carry out the week, because for us, for Auckland, if we can get the synchronicity.
Good use of the big word.
Thank you. They had, how many syllables they had? With you guys learning the field a little more. Not that it's actually that is a good one. So you said obviously you like the field.
I do.
What do you like about it?
Just that it reminds me in some ways of the St. George field, where it is it's simple to learn because it's not a big layout. The walls are in a pretty logical place. It's easy to know how to get around. But there are all these like little things and little adjustments to strategy, because even though it's like, oh yeah, well teams want to go upstairs, but there's like 3 different areas you can kind of congregate upstairs, and sometimes I see like 8 people upstairs all fighting for the same area. Brutal. It's kind of crazy.
For a long time, like, and we are finding that the games here, like, most of the teams are swinging for upstairs, and we'd be gone like 7, 8, 9 minutes during a game where like each team is throwing massive haymakers at the other, and like one tiny mistake is what causes the game to flip. Like the game we took from USA Feast, it was just one well-timed nuke from Morange.
Oh, the one that killed Nolan.
That killed Nolan out. And when your ammo's gone, he's gone. So, there was.
And then Cody, and I don't remember who else it was, kept getting capped up on lives. And then when they came back in the other game against you, I was like, guys, if you hadn't fed them like 20k points from filling up when you had no shots, maybe you would have taken this match.
Oh, that would infuriate the shit out of me. I'd be not happy about it. There was a moment in one of the games versus you guys that we made an error in judgment whilst staying upstairs, and it ended up getting us flushed, and was a big turning point in the game that we thought.
But downstairs is like totally viable. Like you want to have upstairs because obviously if you can tire out the other team and having to run up those fucking ramps all day, so much the better.
Yeah.
But it's not like a lot of 2-floor arenas where it's like upstairs is everything and downstairs is really only a means of getting from one place to another at best.
We've kind of found a nice medium, I guess, between the two. Like the parity between. Like you say, if you don't get upstairs, it doesn't mean that you're going to lose the game.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, well, we didn't get upstairs, I guess we're fucked.
As long as you can hold wherever it is you choose to hold downstairs. But it means the maze, back in the day when we didn't have the wall on the diagonal, when that wasn't a solid wall, it used to be like cargo netting, and we used to have a door in towards towards the blue base. That used to be sealed off, so you'd have 2 kind of dead end areas where games used to, that used to be where we would hold the resupplies. There's no real, like, making the changes that we've made has
totem pole.
Making the changes we've had has changed our maze, and I think has made it much better and much fairer. Like my goal is not necessarily to be. Well, I know how to play my maze, and if I play the little quirks that I know, the other team's not going to have a chance. You don't want them. You want parity in the games. You want competition. So.
Now, I never got to play it with the cargo netting or with the neutral gen being upstairs, but just as a kind of like theory crafting observer, I think those are 2 great changes that you guys made, taking out the neutral target and making that a solid wall as opposed to cargo netting.
Yeah, and you know, we've had a couple other things, like we've had the Jar Jar wall covered up for the week. Which
thankfully
absolutely
that
had to happen.
That has definitely needed to happen.
And we've got a good, I think, simplification of the way that the paths are kind of set throughout the major resupply areas, and I think those have made the backtracking and reffing way simpler.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the changes that have happened have been really positive, which is awesome. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? You guys want to say anything else?
I'm not sure.
I think Stu's technically asleep. He hasn't moved.
Let's see Oakley put some points on the board. Let's see Oakley put some points on the board tomorrow.
A little bit of medicine.
A little bit of medicine.
Need to daintily apply some chapstick.
It's still illegal in this country, chapstick.
I mean,
Food.
Yeah,
Food would be good. Food would be good.
We are going live with day 2 bright and early tomorrow, same time as we played today. We're going to aim to do this recap pod every day this week. So hopefully you guys enjoy the content.
Until Steve and I blow up at each other.
yeah, and it ruins our podcast empire. Sometimes that's got to happen though.
I think empire is generous. Maybe a duchy, a barony at best.
But yeah, come and join us tomorrow with day 2 coverage brought to you by the Resupply podcast of the Laserforce Internationals 2023 here in Auckland, New Zealand. But for today, for this recap, I've been GuyNextDoor.
I've been DK.
I've been Lucy.
I've been DiscoStu.
We'll see you bright and early tomorrow. Always remember to backtrack and don't go to the McChuggies drive-through late at night because it sucks. Ka kite anō. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the evening.